What if I told you that the way your mind has been trained to make things happen pushes your dreams away? What if the way you breathe is sending out a wave of quantum interference that keeps the things you want from coming into your life? The breathing pattern I'm about to share has been shown by Nobel Prize-winning physicists to help change the very nature of reality. You see, most methods for manifesting teach you to breathe for your wants and see them as outside of you that you need to bring in. We've been taught that our dreams are separate from us and that we need to work hard to get them. But quantum physics has shown us something truly amazing. Though there is space between them, when two particles become entangled, they are linked in a way that makes one copy the other right away. What if your consciousness and your deepest desires are already linked in a quantum way? It changes everything if that's true. There is no need for me to give you another breathing exercise that treats manifestation like a chase game outside of you. I will instead show you how to use the ideas behind quantum entanglement to get rid of the feeling that you are separate from what you want. This will make manifestation feel instant because it will be an act of recognizing instead of making something. Because the deepest truth is that you don't want something that you already have. You are just checking in with who you are. You should know that this video is more than just information before we start this journey. It is an energetic stream. Share this video right away if you feel led to broaden this field of possibility. Sharing is like sending a quantum signal. It sends waves of this awakening energy to people who are ready to receive them. This makes the connection stronger for everyone. Take a moment to subscribe to the channel to make sure you stay connected to this frequency of remembering. It's not just a click to subscribe. It's a choice to align your energy with this ongoing stream of quantum truth, which makes it easy for these activations to fit into your life. Quantum physicists found something that will change the way you think about manifestation. In the 1930s, Albert Einstein was very bothered by something he famously called spooky action at a distance. He couldn't bring himself to believe what quantum experiments were showing about how the world really works. He was very upset when he learned that two particles can become quantum entangled when they interact. In other words, if you change the state of one particle, its partner changes right away too, even if they are very far apart. We're talking about a connection that happens instantly across the whole universe and faster than the speed of light, which Einstein thought was the fastest thing that could happen. For those of us who are making our own reality, this is where it really gets amazing. It wasn't just physicists like John Bell who learned something new about tiny particles when they proved this effect was real with his famous theorem. They were finding out something very important about the universe. Separation is not real. What seems like two different things are actually two parts of the same system that talk to each other through a process scientists call non-local correlation. Take a moment to think about that. You may have used this quantum principle on a human level when you had a strong emotion about a loved one or a sudden sense that something was going on with them even though they were far away. There may be invisible threads that link particles across galaxies and could also link you to everything you've ever wanted. Let me share something with you that will change the way you see your dreams forever. When you look at one of these entangled particles, its partner immediately copies its state, no matter how far away they are. As soon as you focus on one particle to measure it, its twin knows right away and makes changes to itself. It doesn't send a signal, take any time, or have any physical parts that we can see. Two parts of what scientists now think is one system, but only seems to be two, work together perfectly and right away. This isn't just a strange fact about science. It's a perfect way to see your own consciousness. No longer are you a passive observer looking from the outside when you become aware of something. You are actively taking part in a relationship where what you are observing affects your awareness. Because you're paying attention, your consciousness doesn't just see reality, it helps make it. Press the like button right away if you agree with this. It's like making a deal with the universe energetically. You are consciously anchoring this frequency of co-creation into your own quantum field when you like something. This lets the universe know that you are ready to be an active creator of your reality. Think about what this means for making things happen. When you think about a desire, you're not trying to reach for something outside of yourself. You're noticing a quantum entanglement that was there all along. Your awareness and your wants are not two separate things that are looking for each other. They are connected parts of the same field of consciousness. The only reason they seem separate is because of how we've been taught to see the world. This is why traditional manifestation can be so hard and tiring. As soon as you think you need to bring something from out there, you are going against the very nature of reality. Quantum physics shows that there is only unity, so you are establishing a false distinction. It's like a single wave in the ocean trying to attract the whole ocean without realizing it is the ocean and is just being a wave for a while. Your awareness and your wants are both parts of the same field that are quantumly connected. In other words, every desire you've ever had doesn't mean you're missing something. That sound is your consciousness recognizing itself and calling you back to remember who you are. When you want more abundance, it's the abundance itself that understands what it is through your awareness. To long for love is for love to become aware of its own presence inside you. If you dream that you are in perfect health, it means that you are whole. The effects will change the whole world. The field of quantum physics strongly suggests that this is true. If it is, then manifestation isn't about getting something you don't have. It's about getting rid of the false belief that you are separate from what you want. Remember that the seeker and the thing being sought are actually two parts of the same consciousness that only look different because of how we've learned to look at things. At this point, your breath connects the quantum world you can't see with the world you live in every day. You literally align your whole nervous system with the truth of quantum reality when you breathe in a way that recognizes unity instead of separation. Some ways of breathing can break down the mental barriers you've put up between yourself and your desires, letting you feel the truth that scientists have been proving in their labs. When you breathe to let go of the feeling of being alone, you are using the same strong forces that keep particles in space connected across galaxies. The frequency of unity, which quantum physics demonstrates is the very basis of reality, is what you are tuning your consciousness to. It's not a figure of speech. This is a real-world use of a scientific discovery. Many thousands of years before we had the tools to measure quantum entanglement, the ancient mystics already knew this to be true. They talked about consciousness as a single field that shows up in many forms, like how a wave finally sees itself as the ocean. These ancient wisdom traditions have always taught that separation is an illusion and unity is the ultimate truth. Now, modern science backs up what they said. Here is your first quantum secret that you can use right now before we go on. Slowly and deeply breathe 3 times. As you let out a breath, gently tell yourself, "I release the illusion of separation." You will feel a change in your energy right away. Feel free to try it now. Please wait. Don't try to change or force anything to happen when you breathe this way. It's just letting your body and nervous system remember what quantum physics has shown. You and everything you want are already connected as parts of the same consciousness. You're not imagining the change you feel. It means that your body is aware of a deep quantum truth. Let's hold on to this truth together if it strikes a chord deep inside you. Say it out loud in the comments. I let go of the illusion of separation. When you type these words, let them be a choice that tells the universe and yourself that you are ready to break down the barriers that are stopping you from getting what you want. This isn't just a phrase. It's an energetic command that finally calms your nervous system down so you can stop seeking and find peace in unity. The coolest part of quantum science is now at hand. This way of thinking has been shown to work in the past. Ancient spiritual texts talked about the same things that quantum physicists are now finding out about a long time before Einstein was born. Even though they used different words and told different stories, they were both pointing to the same basic truth about reality and consciousness. And what they taught you about making your dreams come true will change everything you thought you knew. The information I'm about to share with you has been kept secret for more than 5,000 years in old books. You'll know why when you hear it. In the ancient Indian tradition of Advaita Vedanta, there is a beautiful story that perfectly shows what quantum physicists are now proving with complicated equations. Think about a small wave on the ocean's surface. This little wave feels separate, small, and by itself, and it wants to get to the shore very badly. The wave doesn't know what it is, but it thinks it has to struggle and push with all its might to get somewhere. A smarter, older wave comes by one day and asks, "Little one, why are you working so hard?" "I need to get to the shore," says the small wave. "I need to grow into a better person." "Dear one, you are not just a wave trying to get to shore," the wise wave says with a deep smile. "You're the ocean, and for a moment you're just expressing yourself as a wave. You don't need to change or go anywhere. You are already everything you've been looking for." That's not all this beautiful story is. It is a precise explanation of how quantum entanglement works when it comes to your mind. According to quantum physics, the ocean is the one field that all reality is based on, and the wave is your own awareness. The wave doesn't go away when it finally understands what it is. It stops fighting against itself altogether. The great masters of the past called this moment of pure recognition enlightenment. When you finally comprehend the quantum entanglement between your consciousness and your desires, you experience the same shift. The wise people of a religion called Kashmir Shaivism built very strong practices around this idea, mainly through what they called divine recognition through the breath. They found that certain breathing patterns could dissolve the apparent boundaries between the observer and the observed, revealing what they called spanda, the sacred creative vibration that appears as both your consciousness and everything it experiences. These were not just ways to meditate. They were useful, real-life ways to experience the quantum truth that separation is just an illusion caused by the way we see things. As a Kashmir Shaivism practitioner breathed in, they would realize that they were the whole universal creative force taking in its own energy. They would know that when they let out a breath, they were that same force expressing itself as the whole world. They said that by focusing on your breath, the false wall between me and not me would fall away, revealing what they called pratyabhijna, or knowing your true divine nature. What you're seeing is a lot like what happens when quantum-entangled particles recognize that they are one through measurement and observation. The powerful realization from these old teachings is summed up in the Sanskrit phrase Aham Brahmasmi, which means I am the universal creative force. It's not an act of pride or ego to say this. It's a deep understanding of a quantum truth. A wise person from long ago did not meditate on this understanding to become something bigger or better. They were just realizing what consciousness is. It's not a small, separate thing looking at the world from the outside. It's the creative intelligence that seems to be both the observer and the thing being observed. By clicking the like button, you can make this ancient wisdom resonate with you. This easy action solidifies a spiritual truth in your body, making this powerful awareness of your divine nature part of your cellular memory. This realization changes the way manifestation works in a big way. You stop trying to get wealth, health, or love from outside sources and start realizing that the consciousness that knows it, wants abundance, is actually abundance itself, just acting like it doesn't know what it is. The person or thing that is looking for healing is already whole. They are just temporarily feeling separate from their own wholeness. The awareness that wants love is love itself, forgetting and then remembering that it is infinite, like a cosmic game of hide and seek. If this ancient wisdom strikes a chord with you, please confirm this with me in the comments. I am what I seek. This shouldn't be something you say in your head, but something you know deep down. Typing these words is a strong reminder that you have everything you need. As you remember the beauty that has always been inside you, you are on a beautiful journey. Soham, which means I am that, was also used by the ancient masters. That refers to the ultimate reality, which is the one field that seems to contain everything. Something amazing starts to happen when you breathe with this awareness. When you breathe in, the universe recognizes itself as your personal awareness. When you let out a breath, your awareness becomes your individual self recognizing itself as the whole universe. You don't have to fight or use force to break down the boundary. You can just gently and lovingly realize what was always true. What's really amazing is how well these old teachings match up with what quantum physics says about entanglement. When you do Soham breathing, you are discovering through experience what Bell's theorem proved mathematically. The observer and the observed are not two separate things, but parts of the same system that are connected. Your breath is the holy link between the truth of quantum physics and the real world, letting your nervous system connect with the oneness that your consciousness has always been. These wisdom traditions knew that the mind makes it seem like there is a gap between us, but that the breath can break that gap. While you hold the awareness, I am that, you are not trying to change into something else. Your body and nervous system are being reminded of what consciousness really is. Not a separate observer trying to make things happen in the outside world, but the creative intelligence that shows up as both the seeker and the thing being sought. This is an old power phrase that you can use right away. The next time you want something, instead of telling yourself, I want this, say to yourself, I recognize this as already mine. Do you notice a difference? In your awareness, that is quantum entanglement at work. You have now changed your consciousness from one of separation to one of unity. But this is the most amazing part. In fact, these ancient masters talked about quantum entanglement 3,000 years before Einstein was born. The words they used were about consciousness instead of particles, but they meant the same thing. Not only were the sages who came up with these teachings philosophers, but they were also researchers of consciousness who found through direct experience what our most advanced physics is now proving in labs. They mapped the inner territory of awareness with the same level of accuracy that scientists today map subatomic particles, and they came to the same conclusion. Reality is one field that looks like many, and as soon as you really understand this, the struggle of manifestation turns into the simple ease of understanding. But it's not enough to know about the science. You need to have this change happen to you. This breathing technique will change the way you think about manifesting in a big way. Everything you know about breathing to bring things into your life is wrong. Many methods teach you to focus on your breath, to get what you want. To take a deep breath in with the intention of attracting wealth to you. To let out a breath while pushing your doubts and limits away. They teach you how to use your breath to bring what you want into your life from outside of you. But this way of thinking reinforces the false idea that you and your desires are separate, which quantum physics and ancient wisdom tell us is not true. It's like when you breathe for something, you're telling the universe that it's somewhere else. If you say, "I am here and it is over there," then you need to do something to connect the two. This message gets through to your nervous system, which keeps you in a state of wanting, reaching, and not yet having. There is a frequency of separation and lack in your body, even if your mind is full of positive affirmations. This time, you're going to breathe as your desires instead of for them. It's not just a small word change. It changes everything about how you think about manifestation. When you breathe as plenty, your nervous system stops looking for it and starts being it. When you breathe as love, your heart stops looking for love and starts sending it out from inside you. When you breathe as if you are perfectly healthy, your body stops trying to heal itself and starts remembering that it is whole by nature. The mirror breath method is based on the idea that your consciousness and all of its forms are connected and form one field. Just like how entangled particles reflect one another's states in an instant, your breath can reflect how happy you are, turning the wave of endless possibilities into the solid reality of recognition. Your breath is no longer getting you anywhere. It's helping you see that you're already there. Give this video a like to make this big change from seeking to being even more powerful. This action sends a clear message of embodiment to your quantum field and subconscious mind, which speeds up the process of becoming your fulfilled self and living as such. This is how the method works. When you take a deep breath in, you're breathing with the breath of your happy self. You're not making it up or pretending. You are realizing that the consciousness that wants abundance is actually abundance itself, but for a short time it seems to have forgotten what it is. When you breathe in, the universe recognizes you as the fully fledged version of yourself. Do not breathe in to get more abundance. Instead, breathe as abundance recognizing itself. When you let out a breath, you are breathing with the gratitude of a reality that has come into being. This isn't fake gratitude from someone who wants to believe they are thankful. Being aware of what you really are leads to a natural, effortless gratitude. As you let out a breath, your satisfied self deeply appreciates how perfect and whole it is. You're not breathing out to let go of lack. You're breathing as someone who has never been without, showing how happy you are to remember who you really are. This makes what I call the mirror effect happen. In the same way that a mirror doesn't try to reflect your face, it just does. Your reality will start to reflect your embodied state without you having to do anything. When you consistently breathe as your happy self instead of breathing to feel happy, the outside world has no choice but to change to match the new frequency you are sending out. I remember working with a woman who had been worried about money for a long time. She had tried every method of manifesting you can think of, including affirmations, visualizations, gratitude journals, and even pricey energy clearings. She was beginning to lose all hope, because nothing seemed to make things better in the long term. Almost as soon as I taught her the mirror breath method, something changed inside her. She stopped trying to breathe to bring in money and started to breathe as if she had never had to worry about money. She thought it was very strange at first. So much of the time, her body and mind were used to wanting, reaching, and trying to bring good things to her. But as she kept practicing breathing as abundance instead of for it, everything about how she felt about money started to change. She stopped checking her bank account all the time. There was no longer a knot in her stomach when a bill came in. She stopped being afraid when it came to money and started making choices based on deep trust. Within a few weeks, chances began to appear that she had not even considered before. She got paid more for this freelance job than she had ever made in a month. A tax refund from years ago that came as a surprise. A friend called her out of the blue to offer her a company to work with on a new project. But what was even more important was that she had a deep realization. The abundance she had been searching for so desperately had been there the whole time, just not at the right frequency for her to see and receive it. She said that the moment she no longer felt alone was like suddenly realizing that she had spent her whole life listening to her favorite music with earplugs in. The lovely tune had been playing the whole time, but she couldn't make it out. It wasn't that she was becoming abundant. She was just realizing that she had always been abundant. The fight was never about getting something she didn't have. To remember who she had always been had been the main goal. If her story makes you feel like you know something, take this change for yourself. Post this in the comments. I breathe as my fulfilled self. This affirmation sends a strong message to the quantum field. It lets people know that you are no longer sending out the frequency of wanting and are now walking around with the frequency of having. Now is the time to stop waiting for things to change in your life and start making them happen. It feels like this when you change your breathing from breathing for your desires to breathing as your desires. You can no longer send mixed signals to the quantum field. The inner conflict that comes from wanting something and already having it goes away. When you stop sending out a signal of lack, your nervous system starts sending out a frequency of wholeness. The most important thing is that you stop waiting for things to change in your life and start realizing that they do. When you breathe as your fully satisfied self, it's easy to bring things into your life because you're not trying to. What you're really doing is letting reality show you the truth of who you are. The wave is back to being the ocean, and from now on, everything in its life flows like water, finding its own level. Here is a quick trick you can use right now to make things happen. Think about what you want. For a moment, don't breathe to get it. Instead, breathe as if you already have it. You can feel it in your body. That feeling is your quantum field getting back in sync. In real time, you just felt unity breathing. I need to warn you, once you've been to this next level of creation, you can never go back to normal manifestation. This is where many people go wrong. They want to rush through the process without really understanding how it works. They want to skip over the theory that makes the technique work and get right to the technique itself. Everything changes, though, when you use the mirror breath method, knowing that you and your wants are already quantumly connected. When you remember an old truth that your soul has always known, you are not learning a new trick. In just 21 days, these 6 steps changed my whole reality. After step 5, though, the magic starts to happen. Allow me to show you the full mirror breath practice, which includes everything we have talked about so far. You don't just need to add this technique to your collection. This is a full system for getting rid of the quantum illusion of separation and realizing that you are connected to everything you want. Step 1. Getting ready by recognizing gentle, remind yourself of the quantum truth we've been looking into before you even start to breathe. Your wants and needs are not two separate things trying to connect. You are both parts of the same consciousness. Take a moment to feel this truth in your body Don't see it as a belief you're trying to force yourself to hold. See it as an understanding of what consciousness is. Thinking this way is not positive. This is how quantum physics is used. Step 2. Come to a state of unity awareness. Give your mind and body a chance to relax completely. To achieve a certain state or feeling, you are not trying to get there. You are just giving yourself time to accept that the person who wants something and the thing that is wanted are already one. It's like a wave gently settling back into the ocean. It's not going away, but remembering how big and beautiful it really is. Step 3. Breathe in as your happy self. This is where you start the mirror breath pattern. When you take a deep breath in, you are breathing as your happy self. This means you're not just imagining what it would be like to have what you want. You are realizing that the consciousness that knows it wants it is actually it, even though it seems to forget what it is for a short time. When you take a deep breath in, the universe recognizes that you are already whole and satisfied. Step 4. Let go of your breath with full gratitude. When you let out a breath, you're breathing out as someone who has never been hungry. You're showing the natural, honest gratitude that comes from knowing who you really are. This isn't forced thank yous. It is the natural happiness that happens when a wave remembers it is the ocean, or when consciousness realizes it is infinite and shows up as both the seeker and the sought. Hold on. I need to tell you about the mistake that 90% of people make right now before you go any further. This is something that most people do quickly, like it's a formula. They take a deep breath in to feel rich, and a deep breath out to feel thankful. However, they are still working with the idea that they are separate from what they are looking for. You can only feel magic when you stop trying to feel something and start seeing yourself as you really are. It's not about making people feel something. It's about finding the truth that gets rid of the need to feel something in the first place. If you're ready to go from effort to ease, say this important change out loud in the comments. I stop trying and start recognizing. Those words make you feel better. Stop struggling, pushing, and forcing yourself. This is your leave to do so. In the universe, manifestation is not a task to be done, but a truth to be realized. By writing this, you are in sync with that flow. Step 5. Long-term recognition in everyday life. Here is where everything changes. These are the places where you start to breathe as your happy self, not just during your practice, but all day long. When you pay your bills, you feel like you've never had to worry about money before. You breathe like someone who has never been alone when you're lonely. It's important to breathe like you've always known you can handle life with grace and ease when you're facing a challenge. 6th step. Live as one consciousness. This is the last stage when the practice becomes a part of who you are. You will never need to remind yourself to breathe as someone else because you know that there was never anyone else to breathe as. The person seeking, the act of seeking, and the thing being sought have all been dissolved into the beautiful, simple truth of what consciousness has always been. Being aware that you are not changing into someone else is the most important thing to remember on this journey. You are just realizing that you have always been the same person. Some really cool things happen when you practice this way. You stop looking for wealth, health, love, or success, and start speaking, thinking, and breathing from the knowledge that you are what you have been looking for. People have told me that when they reach this point of recognition, their whole view of life changes. There is no longer a need to ask, "How can I get what I want?" because they know deep down, "I am what I have been seeking." What they say changes. Their power changes. Their presence is magnetic. not because they want to pull something toward them, but because they have stopped pushing things away. Mystics and sages have been pointing to this moment for thousands of years, the end of the seeker-seeking-sought paradigm. It will happen when this recognition becomes stable. No longer is someone trying to make something happen. There is only consciousness recognizing itself everywhere and expressing itself as both the person you seem to be and everything that person has ever wanted. The wave doesn't go back into the ocean. It figures out that it never meant to leave. The fact that this is being recognized is not a big, dramatic event. It feels more like taking off sunglasses slowly that you forgot you were wearing. Everything gets brighter and clearer all of a sudden, but the world is still the same. You're just not seeing it through the dark filter of separation. That thing you thought was missing was never really gone. You were wrong about where you thought you needed to be to attract what you thought you needed. You are already what you thought you had to be. Your life will start to flow like water finding its own level when you stop trying so hard to breathe and start attracting what you want. You're no longer swimming against the rough current of being apart. Being aware that you and the current are one beautiful movement of consciousness makes you feel warm and calm. Press the like button to maintain this state of flow if you've experienced that sense of relief and acceptance. Let the like show that you're ready to give up the fight and live in this beautiful state of unity. As a thank you for following me on this journey, here is an extra technique. As you breathe in and out tonight, put your hand over your heart and say to yourself, "I am already everything I seek." Just do this for 2 minutes and see how you feel when you wake up the next day. This is the strongest form of quantum programming. Your mind is not being taught to believe something that isn't true. Your nervous system is being trained to remember something that has always been true, but was forgotten during the dream of separation. When you get this right, amazing things start to happen in your life. The outside world doesn't change first, which makes you feel different. Once you know who you really are, the outside world changes to match what you've learned about yourself. It's not magic from another world. When you align yourself with quantum truth, this is what happens naturally. You can no longer receive separation from the field of reality once you stop sending out the frequency of separation. Unity becomes your real experience when you become it. The way consciousness works is like this. This is what the quantum field does. When you do this, manifestation is as natural and easy as breathing. Unity breathing breaks down the quantum illusion of separation by showing you that your desires are already quantum-entangled parts of the same consciousness. This means that they can come true right away through recognition instead of creation. Here is your quantum manifestation cheat code since you watched all the way through. At the start of each day for the next 7 days, breathe as your fulfilled self for 3 minutes. Your cells will understand on a deep level by day 7. What I mean when I say, you are what you seek. People are literally healing illnesses and changing their whole reality by becoming someone completely new through mental rehearsal and emotional embodiment. If this quantum approach to manifestation speaks to you, you should watch my previous video about breaking the habit of being yourself. Give the mirror breath method a try for 7 days, and then share your big breakthroughs in the comments. Sign up to get more quantum techniques for manifesting that really work. In the end, if this transmission has changed you, please share it with someone you know. It's like a beacon, bringing together other creators who are also remembering their power when you share. You will get what you give. Remember that you are not separate from what you want. You are what you're looking for.